Welcome to Great Principles. I am Seema Choria. Great Principles, an educational and interactive talk show that brings together best school leader of the country. Our guest today is a multifaceted personality who exemplifies the successful modern Indian woman. She has been the principal of Apex International School, Surat, for over 4 years. She is also a parenting coach, a digital personality groomer, the founder of AJ School of Digital Learning, and an avid YouTuber with her own talk show named Spotlight with Abha. She holds 3 master degrees, one each in business administration, school education, and arts, with specialization in history. Certified Micronshow trainer, she has over the years received numerous recognition, including LinkedIn Person of the Year Award in 2020, the Best New YouTuber 2020, the Influential Woman Achiever of India 2021, Best Influential Professional of India, International Women's Achiever Award, Star Employee of the Year Award, the Dronacharya Award, and nomination for Best Principal for 2 consecutive years. Most recently, she has been added to the OMG Book of Records for the principal with the most flawless attendance for the past 3 years. Yes, you heard that right. This principal has not taken a single day off from her work for the past 3 years. It's an honor. And I'm super excited to welcome this extremely talented lady, Miss Abha Jadhav, founder principal, Apex International School, Surat, Gujarat. Ma'am, it's a great honor to have you here. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Seema, for inviting me on this platform. Thank you very much. It's an honor.
Ma'am, if you don't mind, can we begin by the way you begin at Spotlight with Abha? The way you start is truly captivating.
Hello, namaskar, adab, sasyakal, kasakai, kedo halai, kem cho. I'm Abha Jadhav, and thank you for inviting me on this platform.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It really kick-start everything. Thank you so much, ma'am. So, ma'am, here we start with this. You're a passionate teacher. What is your goal while teaching your students?
When I enter in the class, I enter with a mindset, with a goal. Like, how is my teaching today will be helpful for my student in practical life? What values I'll be inculcating through my subject or topics they are going to study today? How they will be going to apply the acquired knowledge in their practical lives. Moreover, my focus is not the gifted child in the class. My focus is more on the weakest student of the class. If I can make the weakest child more focused, understand the concept, and if that weak student or the below average performer start raising questions, start participating in the conversation of the class discussions, and then that weak child starts doing researches on even a small topic, then I feel that I have achieved my goal. So I always focus on how to make the most quietest child of the class participative and not the gifted student excel further. The gifted child is going to excel anyhow. The question is how you can make the quietest child participative in the class.
That's wonderful, ma'am. So, ma'am, even you have AJ School of Digital Learning, ma'am. So what is that?
So this is like AJ School of Digital Learning is the gift of lockdown period, if I say. During last 1 year, when we were all completely at home and children were not coming to school. And by that time, there was, online platforms, they were flooding with the webinars and seminars. So during that time, there are certain roles which, got added to my profile of like only being principal. Certain more things have got added to my profile. So I became a trained coach. I became an author. I became a YouTuber. And while doing all these things, when I was whenever I was used to in any of the webinar or seminar, I am very much observant. I keep observing people's facial expression, body languages, or dresses and everything. So I found that even if the webinar is of intellectuals, but somewhere I feel that we still lack in the online virtual platform behavior. Somewhere we forget that what kind of etiquettes, mannerism we should have when we are on online platforms. What kind of dresses we should wear, what kind of lightings, what kind of sound system, what kind of attire we should wear, what kind of makeup we should have. So it's not always that if you are working from home, it has to be casual. You are a professional, you have to work as a professional even on virtual platforms. So all these things gave me an idea to start with this digital platform teaching training, where I help people in digital personality grooming, mastering social media mannerism, empowering YouTube channel for aspiring YouTubers, and then making them to enhance their creative skills through Canva and video editing. So all these things I teach in AJ School of Digital Learning, so that people can come up on virtual platform more gracefully, more digitally groomed.
So to all my viewers, this is a very big opportunity for all of us, because I think virtual is going to stay. It's a forever part of our lives now. Do log in to this AJ School of Learning and take the guidance from ma'am, groom yourself better. So to ma'am, along with AJ School of Digital Learning, you're also a Mike and Show trainer. So what is this Mike and Show program all about?
Mike and Show is means advanced life skills. The term Mike and Show itself means advanced life skills. So it's an Australia-based company which promotes advanced life skill training to school children by training teachers who further help students to go with 1 year program of advanced life skills, where they learn to cope up with life skills like peer stress, decision making, problem solving, interpersonal relationships, self-esteem, self-awareness, leadership, lateral thinking, and so on. So when I was in Tapti Valley International School working as a PhD social science, I got an opportunity to train 2 classes, almost 60 students with this course, and was certified by the company as a successful Mike and Show trainer. And that also because I was the only teacher in the whole school who was able to finish that course with the 2 classes along with me, along with their project submissions and video presentations of students.
So this program inculcates leadership skill, overall development, and upgrades teachers as well as students. It's for everyone.
Yes, this program is basically meant for school children, designed by Mike and Show company over from Australia. So they approach different schools and then they offer their programs to schools, and whichever schools takes that program, then they train the teachers. And once the teacher is successful in completing 1 year training all the children on that subject, so then they give them a trainer's certificate to them. So now you are a certified trainer. I can train people on Mike and Show anywhere in their company whenever they will be requiring us.
Ma'am, so what is your observation when you have trained a child with this program? What was the difference you could see?
Yes, children were now able to understand there is a stress kind of thing among themselves also. They don't realize it when they fight, when they argue with each other. There are certain things happening in between them. So they were able to understand. They were able to understand their leadership, identify their leadership qualities. In fact, they were able to understand that why we should not fight, what kind of temperature relationship we should have, that hot relationship, cool relationship, warm relationships, and like that. So it really affects children, and by the end of the program, I can really they are able to grasp those things, because it's basically related to computers. So children love to play games on computer. Children love to play online quiz thing. So this complete program is on computer. Online program is there, so children have to go to computer lab, and then they have their own login ID passwords where they log into their own class, and then wherever they have got stuck, from there they have to start each time. And it's a form of, sometimes it's a game, sometimes it's a puzzle, sometimes it's like quiz, question, answers. So children love to solve those things, and by doing that they keep on asking, now what does this question mean? And then I understand, okay, now child needs my help, and a little extra value education for that particular question. So then in general, I always make them understand that, okay, today we are going to do this lesson, this part, this chapter, and under this you are going to, suppose it's a peer stress management chapter, but whatever they will be seeing on the screen will not be exactly which is relating to peer stress management. It will be a form of game. It will be a set of questions where they have to answer those questions, that you are Ashok and your friend is Ramesh, and you have got a fight. So Ramesh is angry about this. So how will you deal with that? So they have to answer like that.
Okay.
So in that, self-analysis goes on, and in fact, I have seen many students improving their relationships in between. Those who are fighting and those who are not talking, they have started talking to each other. They have started helping each other.
This looks like a very thoughtfully designed program, ma'am. Thank you for sharing the insight on this program. Hopefully, many schools incorporate the same.
But many schools are following it, yes.
Following it. So, ma'am, what is the philosophy of your school and what makes it unique?
Yes, Apex International School, Surat. I really love this school because I'm the founder principal of the school, and each and every system in the school is like, the seeds are sown by me. So, of course, my school mainly focuses on the character building, value education, and teaching through experiential learning. So we focus on individual student and take them along on the staircase of success, where process of giving an emotional, mental, and motivational support helps a child to attain the apex of excellence in his overall development. We believe in open door policy, where my office is open for all my students, all my teachers, including parents, to put their suggestions, problems to me, so that we can work better and better for the institution as a whole.
Ma'am, I'll say that you have a fountainhead of illuminating ideas, and a school which has been established by you will definitely get children to a success path. So, ma'am, going ahead, what kind of changes do you perceive would required for schools in the new era of education in India?
If we talk about new era of education, first of all, we need to come out of the old thought, of school which we are following till now. So if you really wish to work new education policy or new teaching methodologies work wonders, first of all, we need to make changes in our old curriculum. Since ages, we are reading some chapters and same lessons, stories in our textbook. Jhansi Ki Rani, I also read in my 10th class, and still the struggle for freedom, it is still there in the 10th class. So we need to, upgrade those things, because in between those chapters and today's time, lot many other wars, lot many other movements have happened, which actually students are not aware of. In fact, teachers are not aware of. So if we ask them what happened after 1947 till date, so I think there will be very few people who will be able to answer that what we did after independence. Everyone knows that how we struggled and got independent, from the hands of Britishers. But after getting independence, what we did,
Right.
So that we really need to showcase to our children. We really need to, create awareness about that to our students, so that they can value that, yes, India has developed a lot since independence, and we are becoming a developed country. Because they don't know, that's why they don't value our country. They don't know what our country is full of. So we need to inculcate those, development stories into them. We should put today examples of today's people. okay, yes, Milkha Singh, Dhyan Chand, they all are great people, but at the same time, we should inculcate stories of Dhoni, Virat Kohli, Tendulkar also. Tendulkar is now included in the syllabus. But apart from that, there are many personalities, many national leaders of independent India who has actually created, beautiful examples of motivation and struggle in their lives. So it's not always that we should go in history so back that we forget what is just few years back has happened to our lives. So if we take recent examples in our chapters, in our curriculums, I think children, they have recently seen them, they can see their videos, they can see their, performing them in live in front of them, so they can believe it. Right now, they are not seeing all the kings and queens of the Mughal period or prehistoric period. They don't know all those people. Those stories should be there, but I think we should also inculcate these leaders also, so that they can get more motivated, and as they are seeing it, they are believing it. So that makes a lot of difference. So I feel that it should be changed, and apart from that, we should also shorten our syllabus. I think
Exactly.
we are giving a lengthy syllabus to our teachers in limited time period of approximately it's 230 or 240 days in a year. So instead, syllabus should be shortened, and it should be such where teachers can teach basic concepts through activity, games, and explore various teaching methods. It should not always, what happens, we give them lengthy syllabus and they are simply behind completing the syllabus. They forget to play with children. They forget to understand the class. They forget to understand what is the requirement of today's child. They don't have time to understand emotions of their class children. So if we shorten down the syllabus, if we keep only basic concept, and it should be limited and later mode, so they can at least finish it up in a one time period along with all the different activities what we expect from our teachers. Leaders, they always tell the teachers, okay, use this method, that method, this experiential learning has come, critical thinking, but we are not giving teachers a time. Why? Because they also have to complete the lengthy syllabus. We are not training on them.
Right.
So how teacher will work on it? So we need to give them space also. And also we should train our teachers more and more with updated teaching methods, understanding child psychology, understanding students as an individual instead of understanding them as a class as a whole. Moreover, we as a leader should provide a conducive and happy environment to our teachers where they can work happily. If we we are strict for discipline part, at the same time we don't appreciate them, we are continuously hammering teachers. If we have not done anything, we are just scolding them on and on and on, but we never appreciate their small things. So in my school, if I tell that it's not about boasting myself, but yes, I think if all the leaders they start this thing, teachers will get a lot of motivation and they will definitely work wonders. So what I do every day before going, all the teachers they assemble in my room. So during the whole day, if you come to know anything good about, if you cannot do it on everyday basis, at least you can do in weekly meetings or monthly meeting, you can do that. That you come to know about some teacher, that some teacher has done something good in the class. She has done something innovative in her class. I simply call that teacher and I put a smiley on their blazers. And there's literally a fight of getting more and more smileys on their blazer. And the condition is they have not to remove those smileys from their blazer. They have to wear it, all of them, throughout the year, which they get. So more the smileys, teacher gets one step ahead on getting best teacher trophy.
Ma'am, you are truly visionary.
And when students, they see their teachers. So when students, they see their teachers getting appreciated, they also love their teachers and they follow what their teachers say.
Right, ma'am. You very rightly said that our living legends, there are so many gems in India, and their stories should be taught to our children. That will definitely inspire them more. And what an amazing idea of motivating our teachers and thereby motivating children. I really love the concept of giving smileys.
And the one thing which I have started this thing the last year before Corona, I have just initiated, and it is still in the halfway because of this lockdown period. It could not get completed in one round. But yes, I have started taking home visits of my teachers. I asked my teachers to do home visits of their children, and then I also did home visits of my teachers to know their families, to know the environment they live in, to understand what surroundings they are staying their home in. So by doing that, what happened that I have developed a connect with their families, and teacher came one step closer to me, and that affection has developed a one level ahead, and then there's all mine. And then I simply say, I want this thing to happen in my school. They will say, yes, ma'am, we are ready. Nobody will refuse to, what you want them to do, because now you are a family. So I think if all the leaders, they do this, definitely their team will be a happy team.
Ma'am, school leadership is very complex, and especially people lack in being a leader of people. And school leadership, want that thing that leaders should be leader of people. And you have taken that step forward and got closer to your teachers. That will definitely lower down the ratio of teacher attritions also.
Yes, since 3 years, my teachers, nobody has resigned from their post. They are still there.
See,
only 2 or 3 teachers have got married. They have changed the town. Otherwise, they are still there. All of them are there. Yes.
Wonderful, ma'am. It's all your effort towards building that relationship that has paid off. So, ma'am, you have beautiful thoughts about making education better, making teaching better. So, what would you like to tell the government? If I would say that one thing that you'd like to tell the government to improve education system in our country, what would be that?
Very first thing, change the curriculum in NCERT books. Make it more attractive in appearance with updated information and data along with negligible spelling errors. Many a times what happens that as these government books, they are just, I don't know how they are having their publication process, but many times we see there are many mistakes in the printing, and then the spelling mistakes are there. Many times many pages are left blank in the textbook, and moreover the look of the book is not that attractive. Concept of the book is very good, the way they are, they have a lot of activities, a lot of examples, fantastic. But we need, again, as I said, we need to add latest examples, we need to add latest success stories, and then latest data should be updated time to time. Sometimes it happens that today, we need latest data is available on Google of 2021, but they are still, showing data of 2011.
Right.
So if the book is published recently, then you should have the recent data. That is what I mean. So many times that data differs when child Googles, the data is different, and when he looks in the book, the data is different. So sometimes it becomes difficult for teacher to reply this. No doubt we say, okay, this is as per this year's survey. But what image they are creating of their books then? Because again, in compared to NCERT books, we have private books which are always updated and with the latest version, with their beautiful pictures and attractive colors, and that's why people, most of the schools, they are diverting towards private publication books.
Right.
They don't know. In fact, NCERT books are really they are really very nice. There's a way to teach from NCERT books. If we train our teachers on that, definitely it will become easy to teach from NCERT books. But again, as I said, if at least we do make changes in the appearance of the book, it will make a lot of a difference.
It will become very appealing to the child.
Yes. Yeah. Because today's child loves beauty. Whichever things are beautiful, the child will immediately divert it to that thing.
So, ma'am, you have achieved so much in your life, and there are many wow moments. But what are you most proud of accomplishing in your career?
Yes, though I have a lot of awards and trophies, in my shelf now. But the one I really feel proud to get is Star Employee of the Year award at Tapti Valley International School in 2017. Because, again, at that time I was a teacher. So definitely as a teacher, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, I think all the teachers who are watching right now, they will be agreeing to my point that a teacher doesn't need much salaries. They will work with even a little less salary if their work is being appreciated, if they are being motivated to move ahead to do something new. So if teacher has done something new and your leaders are appreciating you with a little award, the way I appreciate, like with a little smiley is not a big thing,
Right.
but the teacher feels appreciated, the teacher feels respected. So that is what I felt when I got that Star Employee of the Year award, because it was not just one award we have received. Every month we used to get it, Employee of the Month.
Right.
So every month a certain teacher has done some some good things. They have been rewarded as Employee of the Month. And yes, I have been the maximum winner of those monthly awards. I received this Star Employee of the Year award. And that created a competition among teachers, to do better and better, to showcase better and better, how they can give best from their students. So what I did in first month, everyone was knowing, okay, by default, this month Abha is going to achieve this. But then that motivated other teachers. And from the next month, there was literally a competition to win that award. So if all the institutions, they start doing this, appreciating teachers, so you will definitely get maximum out of it. You don't know, teachers are so much talented. We don't take out their talents. We don't, explore their talents at maximum. We don't give them chance. We just, many times it happens at certain institutions, they limit their choices to coordinators or the supervisors or the senior authorities or senior teachers. They never give opportunities to the teachers of primary section. They don't give opportunities to teachers of smaller pre-primary section. So here I saw that each and every teacher has got a chance to explore their talent, and because of which teachers over here in this school are really happy. And definitely this is the most proudest achievement of my career.
So to all my viewers, to all the school leaders and the management, start this beautiful practice of a little token of appreciation for your teachers and see how the teachers give their best to you.
Absolutely.
So going ahead, ma'am, life is not always a piece of cake. There are many challenges too. So tell me about a stressful scenario in the past and how did you handle that?
If I say as a teacher, I can never forget my 7C class in GD Goenka International School, Surat. Most challenging class of my career of 20 years. And it has made me do all kind of researches and every new techniques I can use to, improve my children. It was the most naughtiest class. They were the weakest class academically. Moreover, out of 25, 14 to 17 children were like that who were living in hostel. Means I never get a chance to meet their parents. So there were many challenges. And moreover, as they are coming from such families where they have never been scolded. So again, they are very much pampered children. So it was a big challenge to handle that class. And still every time I used to, blame that ma'am is doing partiality. And I used to cry in washroom every day that what should I do for these people? And one day I literally got a call from Vice Principal ma'am. She called me and said, Abha, I have received a complaint against you from your class. So I was shocked. I was literally surprised that I am putting so much of efforts and my class have complained against me. Let me hear it. So ma'am told me that they are saying that you are being partial between girls and boys. Actually, there were 6 girls in my class and they all were very intelligent and talented. They never disturbed me in any of the ways. So they never got scolded. They never got any, a situation where I have to be harsh with them or I have to speak louder to them. And then this actually made me think. I didn't get angry, but actually this made me think. I analyzed myself, my own behavior, that where I am going wrong, that made my children think about me like this. And then I talked to girls, said from tomorrow onwards, I will be sitting with boys during break times, like breakfast and lunch time and evening snacks time. And I'll be sitting with the boys. And don't bother if I scold you for any petty things. You have to simply listen to me. And don't you want your class boys should improve? So they said, yes, ma'am, we are with you. And that support I have got from my class girls. And then from that day onwards, I started sitting with my students during break time, breakfast time, lunch time, evening snacks time. And I started talking to them. I started, taking interest in their hobbies, what and I found that they have many things to tell. When they saw that ma'am is completely ours, they all were, they have all opened their heart in front of me. And then it became very much easy for me to, get it done what I wanted. And I understood they need a lot of love instead of my scoldings. So, again, I researched a lot, I've researched, I read many books, I Googled many sites, that how can I make them interested in studies. And then with, many activities and experiential learning thing, creative thinking skills and critical thinking skills, all those methodologies I have applied in my class. And within 2 months, I think they all were rocking. They started loving me like anything.
So from teacher,
yes, and that was you will be shocked that students from that class are still in my contact. One of the boy was having birthday in COVID times. I was in school and it was 5th June. Again, 5th June is very near now.
right.
So I called. I just had his number in my phone. I said, let me try whether this number still exists or not. Today is his birthday. Let me try whether he is there or not. So I just called on that number, and to my surprise, that number was still existing, and the boy picked up the phone, and I said, happy birthday, Adarsh. And he was so happy. He immediately, rushed to my school with a cake. He came to my office with a cake, and we celebrated his birthday. And he was like the naughtiest child of my class. And there are certain, all the children, they are still in my touch. So that is what I see. That was the most stressful class and the year for my 20 years of career in teaching profession. But yes, by God's grace, I always say, whenever I feel like when I am not getting success, I always self-analyze first. I never see fault in others. I see where I am lacking, and I improve myself. Instead of improving others, I first improve myself. That it may be possible that I am going wrong somewhere. And if I talk about being on leadership position and stressful scenario, so right now it is going the most stressful scenario, where children are not coming to school and we have to ask parents to pay the fees.
Right.
We are doing online teaching and we have to make parents agree that, okay, still we are teaching your children. What if your child has not come to school, but you have to pay the fees? So that becomes really a stressful scenario when we are facing so much of challenges in recovering fees from parents, and at the same time we have to pay salaries to our teachers.
Right.
Maintaining balance has become really stressful nowadays. But still, we are calling one-on-one all the parents. After Diwali, I met all the parents of my school one-on-one. It was like it took 15 days to meet all those parents. But I talked to them one-on-one. I counseled them. Then I gave them, I was being a little empathetic to them. The moment they entered to my office, I never talked of fees. I said, how are you, ma'am? know, how COVID has affected your family. How's my child? I didn't say how is your child. I asked how is my child. I'm missing him a lot, or I'm missing her a lot. So when parents started, feeling that, okay, this ma'am has that much attachment with my child, so they mellow down, and then it becomes, gradually, then I put my thing that, okay, now you have to get in touch with school. Online teaching have already started. Come, this will teach you how to get online, because our school parents, they are still, many of the parents, they are illiterate, and on technology part, they still need a lot of training. So we called them and we said, we'll train you, don't worry. Our office staff will train you, but you just show your readiness to join with us. And this is how we converted parents' thought. And then now we are able to collect so much of fees in our school. And still many parents, we still have given them, a comfort level. Okay, no issue. We are not forcing you to pay fees now. Pay slowly. Perfectly fine. No issue. So when parents get that, pampering or empathetic emotions from us, so they become little, calm, that, okay, somebody is there to listen to us and understand our problem. And this is how we are, facing it.
So, ma'am, on this note, I come to the very interesting segment of our talk show that is called Rapid Fire Round. You have to answer in one word only. So here comes my first question. I hope I will
be able to do that, qualify that.
Of course, ma'am. You will. You are a seasoned leader. So here comes my first question. What do you think is missing from school these days?
Of course, my students, my children.
Name a school principal you admire the most.
Dr. Pushpi Dutt, principal of DPS Nasik right now. We work together, and she's a great mentor and role model for me.
What is the right form of education? One model for all or individualized learning?
Individualized learning.
Children have impressionable minds and are overexposed to crafty advertising these days. Do you think this is leading to psychological and behavior problems in children?
Yes, it depends that how that child is taking those advertisements and how the child is being reared at home. Because it's all about parenting, that how parents have taught him to take that advertisement in his thoughts. Yes.
So I think you have already answered that, but still, since it's a question, I'll put it up. What do you think children need more these days, a teacher or a mentor?
Of course, a mentor who can facilitate the learning environment to make child learn better.
So, ma'am, now we come to another interesting segment that is called Hidden Talent. So, ma'am, you have been awarded as the Best New YouTuber 2020 and the Influential Women Achiever of India 2021. How did you discover this talent of yours?
Getting the blessings of lockdown time. Lockdown time has, given me opportunities to discover a lot of talents of mine. It is exactly 1 year from now when I posted my first video on YouTube. And I was very much scared because till that time I was actually not aware of what exactly YouTube does. And I always thought that YouTube is not a good thing. To be a YouTuber is not a good thing. Till that time, I thought I never found it good until I did it. So because of lockdown, I posted one video, and I didn't share it with anyone. I just posted. Everyone is making video. Let's make one video, and I posted on YouTube. But I didn't share with anyone out of, I was a little scared of if people will know that I'm doing a YouTube thing. So I didn't share with anyone. Then I went into the training of my mentor, Brigadier Sushil Bhasin sir, who's training the course, the online trainer course I took, where I became certified trainer. There was 11-day challenge round, and there was an award of super performer. I am little hungry for awards. Whenever challenges are coming and they have some rewards, I just very first moment that award was declared, just like Arjun has that focus on that eye, it came into my mind, this is my award. The moment it was declared, the first sentence I uttered from my mouth is, "This is my award, and I'm going to get it." And with that mindset, I started those challenge rounds. And by the end of the 11th day, my mentor told me that you have posted almost 55 to 60 videos on YouTube.
Wow.
And I was not aware. I was just, I was having fun in recording videos, in taking interviews. And I was just enjoying that time because actually I got occupied for the whole day in that lockdown period. So I was just happening it without that what is of those videos. And likewise, I created 100 videos, I think in 6 months. 5 to 6 months, I have created 100 videos, I think.
Wow.
And on 100 video, after 100 video, I attended one workshop on YouTube. I said, chalo, itna YouTube video kar liya hai, let's, attend some, what is YouTube? Let me know. Till that time also, I never, explored what is YouTube. I was just simply doing it for my fun sake. And I said, okay, up to 100 video I have done, now I must work it on seriously. So let me explore what exactly this YouTube is. I didn't knew that YouTube, gives money after monetization and all those things. I was not aware of. So when I attended that webinar on YouTube, I discovered so many things about YouTube, and I was like, oh God, what I was doing till now. And after that, within next 2 months, I monetized my channel. And now I have more than 1450, more than 1450 subscribers. And I have posted almost 172 videos on my YouTube channel. And the process is still on. And my YouTube channel is mostly admired for my talk show, Spotlight with Abha, where I highlight successful people into my spotlight, and they share their stories. Yes, it's a great motivation for everyone to hear successful people. And at the same time, by this time, I have completed 57 episodes of Spotlight with Abha, and I have hosted 2 world record events also. Live, I was a host to those events. So this is how it's progressing. And by seeing maybe all these things, LinkedIn has been kind to me, and it identified me, I think so, and they recognized me as the best new YouTuber 2020. And at the same time, again, these people who have awarded me these awards, they all were connected to me on LinkedIn. So they are continuously observing what you are doing. They are connected to all your social media sites, so they observe how you are, how professional you are, what kind of work you are doing. And even if I am a YouTuber, what kind of videos I am creating, what value I am giving to society. All these things are being observed. They have not given it me easily. Even if I talk about Influential Women Achiever of India Award, they have asked me to give all the proofs of my achievement or work I have done. It's not like that simply you have nominated and some people have voted and you have won the award. They have first asked my resume, then they have asked the proof of all my degrees, then they have asked pictures of all my awards I have won, the NGOs I am associated with, and the other membership I am related to. And this is how this 2020, the COVID period or the lockdown period has become fruitful for me. And again, one more talent which I add over here is that I have discovered myself as an author over here during this year. I have co-authored a book called Rise and Shine, 10 Keys to Spectacular Success, where my chapter is on emotional mastery. So that book is available on Amazon. I request everyone to purchase that book and must-read book.
Ma'am, this is commendable. I mean, you're truly an inspiration for all of us. And I can't tell you, I'm feeling so fortunate to have a chance to interact with you.
My pleasure, ma'am.
And ma'am, talking about your achievements and awards, you have recently been added yourself in the OMG Book of Records. So for those who don't know, I would like to tell again that ma'am has not taken even a single day off from her work in the past 3 years. Ma'am, how do you do so? What is the practice of your time management? Everyone, today kisi se bhi aap milte ho, they say, time nahi mila. My 7-year-old daughter tells me, "Mama, मेरे पास time नहीं है." So you would like to understand this.
Yes, actually, it's not on the principal post, but prior to that, also as a teacher, also in most of the schools, I have this thing of 100% attendance record. Means till that time nobody has noticed, but yes, this time I got an opportunity, and OMG people noticed it, and they have recognized me with this award. So it is all about time management, and which I am following it since I was in 8th standard. My uncle, Dr. S.P. Srivastava, who is a cancer specialist, he used to follow his routine very strictly. So one day I was just sitting with him, and I was watching him doing some, ticking and some crossing. And I said, "Uncle ji, what are you doing?" He said, "This is my schedule of the day." I said, "What is it?" So these are the to-do list, to-do things which I am, every morning I'm writing. And this is how he introduced me on, every morning getting up early to make a to-do list. And then at the end of the day, you have to stuck off which work you were able to do. It may be possible that you are not able to complete all the things you have planned for the day. So again, it's all on, you have to set priorities. That which work is urgent and important, that and needs your attention, that you do first. Some things in your list can be delegated to someone else, others can do. Like paying a light bill can be done by someone else. Paying a gas bill can be done by someone else. Or going to buy vegetables can be done by someone else if people are there at your home. Or it can be at least, shifted to nearby day or two if you have any other important work. So that is how you have to prioritize what is important for work to do, and it has to be done by yourself, that you keep it on the first list, that okay, this is my to-do list number 1, this work I have to do. And apart from that, also make a list that what you are not supposed to do. So initially nowadays also I have a bad habit or good habit, whatever you say. I am very much addicted to TV, movies in fact. So I make sure that I, watch any, movie in a day at least nowadays also. But as you said, now time nahi milta. So how I manage my time? So when I am doing some online typing or something like that, I keep my TV on, a movie on. I keep on listening the dialogues and I enjoy movie. And so in between, if some nice song comes, I get up and I dance also and I enjoy also. So this is how all the senses, they work together. Yes, my multitasking is also a little smarter than I say maybe with compared to others. So I can do a lot of things together. So if I'm working here, so in kitchen, I'll keep something to cook also. If I have to sit for a training in evening, I'll prepare my food 1 hour before I sit for training. So that even if I'm busy in training, if my husband needs to eat food, he can take on his own. So he has not to wait for me. So you have to plan that if I have these things to do, then how I'll be planning my day. Because we don't have any extra people in our home. Me and my husband are only 2 people are there. So we only are managing everything on our own. So we plan. And thank God, by God's grace, my husband, he supports me a lot. So I request all the husbands also to support their wives if they are working. Help them in the kitchen, help them in household work. There's nothing wrong in that. I think by doing this kind of support to your wives, in fact, you will increase your respect in her eyes. That you are giving her chance to explore her world, her dreams. In fact, becoming a principal was, of course, my dream, but prior to me, it was dream of my husband.
Wow.
At present also, if I think of anything and if he feels that, okay, I deserve it, he will be the first person to support me all the ways. So thank God for giving me such a wonderful husband, and I expect every husband should be like this, supportive and helping to their wives so that their wives can also achieve their dreams.
Wonderful, ma'am. So it's lack of planning, lack of direction, not lack of time that is the problem. We all have 24 hours in a day. So if you plan,
and there's a time, you need to find your hourly worth. and how much important the time, number of hours you work, and amount of money you earn. When you compare those things and do the calculation, you will find your hourly worth. For this, you can read my mentor's bestseller book, The $1 Million Second by Brigadier Sushil Bhasin. It is available on Amazon. Fantastic book, fantastic book. I have not only read that book, in fact, I have completely cast in my personality. I have already taken it in my blood, if I say. I was already a nice time manager, but at the same time, reading that book, it shaped my time management in a better way. In fact, goal setting. Brigadier Sushil Bhasin has also helped me in goal setting too. Before that, I never knew the value of goal setting. So when I started, setting my goals for small work, I was able to achieve everything which I have dreamt of. You just need a planning. So 2 books, especially I recommend for everyone to read. Both books are by Brigadier Sushil Bhasin. One is Design Your Life. Second is $1 Million Second. Excellent books to have effective time management. Apart from that, Brigadier sir, he is having his own YouTube channel also, and he is giving tips on time management and goal setting every second day, or I think every day. So we, one who cannot get the book, they should at least watch their videos on YouTube, and you'll get all the tips from him.
Wow.
It's all about you learn, but after learning, it's more important to apply in the action. We read so many things, but how much we apply to our lives. So one who applies goes, one step closer to success. So that's the only thing.
We can have n number of ideas in our head, but until and unless we execute them, they are all vague. They are just vague. So to all my viewers, go ahead, subscribe to Brigadier Sushil Bhasin's channel, or read his books and make better version of yourselves. So thank you so much, ma'am. It was a truly wonderful session with so much valuable insights that we have, and learning it from you make it really, really wonderful experience.
Thank you, Seema, for giving me this opportunity to put my thoughts in front of the viewers. At least I feel that what I know, if it is shared to the world, they will also learn something. And knowledge is always meant for sharing. है ना, कहते हैं कि बांटने से ज्ञान बढ़ता है. Otherwise, the knowledge which is stuck only to you will ruin one day. So better to spread as much as you can. So thank you for giving me opportunity to share my thoughts to your viewers, and I hope whatever I have shared over here is going to helpful for them, and definitely I expect if they have really learned something from this interview, I wish they could put in action, and definitely if they put in action, they will find better results 100%.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, and we are actually honored to have you here, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.